All right, good evening, everyone. Pat Man, Matt Mars, Charlotte Football Insiders. Welcome to another edition of Football Focus Weekly. Before we get started tonight, we have to acknowledge the passing of a great coach here in the Charlotte area. It is Charlotte Catholic great coach Jim Otto. Jim Otto, was obviously a man that coached for a long time, and we talk about Charlotte Catholic with reverence. The sustained excellence of that program, started back in 1973 when he became the coach over there, when they were off of Park Road. That's now Holy Trinity Middle School, and then, of course, moving to where they are now off of Highway 51. A great story. I've told this a long time ago. I went to trade film with Coach Otto over at Charlotte Catholic, and, he told me to meet him at McDonald's right across the street from the school. And we met there, and usually, the old school film exchanges. It wasn't anything. You kind of talked for a second or two about how the game went the night before, and trade your tape, and then you went on down the road. Coach Otto, wanted to sit down. We had breakfast, and he kind of talked, about how things were going with his team, and he asked us how things were going at Harding, at the time, and he's very positive and very complimentary, of the things we were doing at Harding, and, acknowledged the, challenges over there. And, we had a decent team that year, and, but the main thing about him was he was sincerely a caring man. And, you could tell by the way his players loved him. The outpouring of everything I saw today on social media should tell you, everything you need to know about the Charlotte Catholic program. He believed in running the football. He believed in that, wing T. We used to have debates back in the day about run versus pass, and, what's the best way of doing it. He is a true Charlotte legend, and, we are worse off for not having him here with us anymore. But as I said on Twitter, his spirit's going to live on forever through all the coaches that he touched here in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school area. So, got to start the show the right way. So stay tuned. We got Terry Smith, Associate Head Coach with Penn State University, coming up right after the intro. So get comfortable and enjoy another great episode of Football Focus Weekly. Wayne King on South Tryon Street is number one. And I'm going to tell you why. Pat Man's Fried Chicken Rankings. And we're going to do 4 restaurants. I see Fred is laughing in the background.
My sound off is actually about, I'm going back to the Panther fans. And you know why?
Queen of CFI, sound off.
So much disrespect with mighty Coach Billups, and I'm here to sign off about it.
I can tell you how the Panther season gonna be.
Oh, I've got a rule in life, man. There are a couple rules I live by in life. One rule is never pass by Bojangles without stopping. A second rule of life is get play sauce, it'll save your life. Third rule of life, don't trust white girls. The number one most annoying group of people who don't put their buggies back in their little buggy aisles at the grocery store.
Touchdown, Nation Falcons! Where did I agree to get 211 text messages a day about the election? What did I agree to get calls every 7 seconds?
I'm gonna sound off on myself. All my teams stink. Oh my God, we have the caption Cowboy Joe on there now. Good grief. But
Charlotte Football Insider, Football Focus Weekly. All right. Once again, we are going to bring on the associate head coach for Penn State University. He has a bevy of other titles, but I'll let you tell him. I'll let him tell you about those. And that is Terry Smith, and we're going to bring him on right now. All right, Coach, how we doing?
Doing pretty good. Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule. We know you guys are in the middle of spring ball right now. And so tell the world, all of the titles that you have over at Penn State.
My titles are so long I can't keep them on a business card. I am associate head coach. I just got that title added this past January. I was assistant head coach, so I took one more step up to associate head coach. I also coach the cornerbacks, and I'm also the defensive recruiting coordinator at Penn State University.
All right, excellent. That's awesome, and congratulations on the promotion, man. That's great. So first of all, obviously you being a DB guy, what do you look for in a DB skill wise that you guys recruit up at Penn State?
Yeah, there's a lot of attributes that you're really focusing on. In no particular order, you want a guy with length. You want a guy that can run, change direction, be sudden. You want the ultimate competitor. You want an intelligent guy, a smart guy that can grasp and learn the system and grow fast. You want a guy that's physical that can tackle. And ultimately, if you take a shorter guy, he has to have some elite characteristics to him. Meaning he's really fast, or he's super quick, or there's something that's elite about him. The longer guys, because of coverage range, they don't have to be as fast. But when you look at the top corners in the draft this year, they're all 6 foot plus corners, and they're over 200 pounds, and they're running 4.4 or faster, and they got great length. So they're common denominators to what apparently the NFL wants in that first, second, or third round. And typically we're looking for the same, although, my starting nickel is a small guy. He's a 5'9.5", 178-pound kid that started as a redshirt freshman. So, there are certain lengths that you want, but at the end of the day, we want good football players that make good decisions and don't make mental mistakes.
Very good, Coach. Very good. I always tell, our kids down here, they end up watching the show a lot, in the playback. That's going to be some great tips for those DBs here in the 704 that, are looking for, all those tips that you just shared right there. So you mentioned the NFL draft, and I can't let that go without mentioning, your linebacker, Micah Parsons. I mean, what an incredible, performance that he did at the pro day. What can you say about him and his prospects? And he was.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Coach.
So Micah, he's a special athlete. At the pro day, he ran 4.35. He weighed in at 250 pounds. He's exceptional. He's got exceptional ball skills. He's got exceptional change of direction. As a high school football player, he played running back. He was a starting tailback, and he played defensive end. And he did what, in football, you normally don't move backwards. You usually move forward. Corners bump to safety, safeties bump to linebackers, outside to inside, inside to DN, DN to D tackle. Well, he went from DN in high school to outside linebacker for us, and it just tells you how athletic this kid is. So he's a phenomenal athlete. Between him and Saquon Barkley, they're probably the two best athletes I've ever been around. They're game changers. They're franchise type players, but he's a hardworking kid too. And the one thing that many people don't know about Micah Parsons is he's very smart. A kid came in 3 years and graduated, got a Penn State degree in 3 years exact. And he was goal driven. He knew what he wanted. He wanted to get his degree. He wanted to be an All-American at Penn State, and he wanted to be a first-round draft pick. And he's achieving all those goals.
That's awesome, Coach. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, all those wonderful things about that talented young man. So let's kind of shift gears here. How COVID-19, of course, has changed our world. It's done so many different things. So first of all, how has it changed how you guys recruit at Penn State? And then number two, because of that, they've pushed things so far back with the NCAA. Are you guys able to have camps this summer? And if so, when would those camps be?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, how has it changed recruiting? Just like how we're communicating right now, everything is over electronic devices, whether it's computers, iPhones, iPads, laptops, PCs, the like. So, we do a great job of communicating that way, doing virtual tours, trying to show prospects our campus, our facilities, getting them to meet our staffs, whether it's our academic staff, our strength and conditioning staff, the entire football coaching staff, the recruiting staff, sports science, every department that is involved with football. So, we've had to be creative in that sense. To answer your second question, will we have camps? Today, we're planning on having camps. As of right now, the NCAA has opened up June. So we're planning to have camps each weekend of June, from the first weekend to the last weekend. And, also within June, for the class of 22, they're allowed to take official visits. So we're planning to have official visits this weekend along with camps. So, June's going to be very, very busy because it'll be the first month where the NCAA has allowed prospects to truly come on campus and for us to host them on campus and have true interaction to show them our campus, show them our facilities, show them what it's like to come to Penn State and sell the program to them. So it's going to be busy. We're thinking every day is going to be busy. We won't have a day off in the month of June.
That's very exciting to hear, Coach. That's awesome because, obviously, being able to see, touch, and feel these kids, that's how, obviously you get the best feel for, the guys that you want to bring into your program. So that's really great news. I'm glad the NCAA finally is starting to move forward, a little bit with the progress we're making on the vaccines and everything with COVID.
Yeah, we're excited. It's been over a year. We haven't been able to get out on the road and, for a little bit of period of time, I recruited the Charlotte area and, we just can't get out to see prospects and, to meet great people and great young people. And, and it's really affecting, when you have to travel to far distances like Charlotte from Pittsburgh or from Penn State, we can't get down there. So there may be some kids that we can't take a chance on because we just don't have enough information about them. Or the visual, just to see what a kid's body looks like. Can it grow? Is he limited into his weight or, just mental things and mental examinations like that, or just watching the kid at gym class, change direction, just being a natural athlete or practice working out or basketball or track and, all those things that help us make better decisions for kids.
Absolutely. So that's very exciting, and I know there's be some kids from this area that will be heading up there. I ain't gonna say no names. I know I can't do that, but anyway, we talk about great people. I'm gonna bring on a great person that he's one of our favorite guys, and Kenneth McLaren. He's got a question for you or two, Coach. So here we go.
Okay.
Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me. You were the guy that officially invited me, so I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, I know that you're in the middle of spring practice and spring camp, man. So thanks for taking time out of a busy schedule to be with us. So, Coach, obviously, when you're at a level like Penn State where you're constantly under the national microscope, last year you start off rough, but then you string together 4 consecutive victories to end the season. What does that say about the character of the men on your staff, inside your locker room, and what does that say about 2021 moving forward into this season?
Yeah, obviously the season for us going 4-5, isn't what we're accustomed to. And, the way we started the season, we had a very tough loss in the opener to Indiana. It literally came down to the last play of the game in overtime on a controversial call. It's our fault as Penn State for being in that position because we were in control of the game and we allowed it to swing the other way. But as the season played on, for the first 5 games, the momentum was a negative momentum, and the pendulum was swinging down and away from us, and it was getting very difficult. And in week 6, we found ourselves having to take a road trip to the University of Michigan. And Michigan is one of the best programs in our Big Ten conference, and we're 0-5, and we're just sitting there like, how can we swing this thing? And to be honest, it was the first week that we as a team had a team meeting together, all in one place. And I think that meeting really ignited the unity in our program. We knew we were all we had. We had to lean on each other, coaches, staff, and the support staff. We went up to Michigan and really played the best game that we had played all year. And, the defense was really sound. We made some critical stops, and then the offense controlled the flow of the game. They scored enough points, and they kept Michigan's offense off the field. And, and then we're process driven. We go under the mantra of each week we want to go 1-0. We don't look at the big picture and say, hey, we want to win the Big Ten. No, just this week we want to win and go 1-0. And it's all about this week. And we just put those together. And by the end of the season, we had put 4 of those things together, and we ended the season 4-5. So it gave us great momentum and energy going into the offseason. We feel really good about our young guys. We had to play a ton of freshmen and sophomores, and because of the NCAA, the way it all played with COVID, those guys retained that year of eligibility. So we're going to be a really young football team, but experienced. So we're off to the first 4 days of spring ball, and man, we're excited. We've had a great 4 days, and the guys are getting after it, and there's true buy-in. We've had some humility in our locker room due to the 4-5, and everybody's pulling the rope on the same page right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Kenneth. Make sure I get that right. Appreciate it. All right, Coach. My last question for you. Talk to us a little bit about the path that you took to become where you are now as the associate head coach at Penn State.
Yeah, my path is a little, I guess, not like your typical path. It's like a lot of coaches or GAs and, work their way up into assistant coaches. I was a high school head coach in Western Pennsylvania for 11 seasons. And I had no intentions on, going to the collegiate level. And, I had a couple good players on a particular year, and a guy that you guys should be familiar with walked into my office named Matt Rule, who's the Carolina Panthers head football coach. He had just gotten the job at Temple University, and he's sitting in my office, and I had a couple of my former players there that attended Ohio State University, and they had some personal problems going on, and Matt sat in my office and kind of saw me dealing with those guys, and he said, man, I need a guy like him. Now, lo and behold, I gotta acknowledge this. Matt Rule is also a Penn State letterman. So I'm a Penn State letterman. He's a Penn State letterman, so we had that in common. And he watched how I handled my players, and he said, man, I gotta have a guy like you on my staff. Lo and behold, in under 48 hours, he offers me the job to go to Temple as their receivers coach. Had a great learning experience with him. What a tremendous leader and coach, and such a smart man that obviously with his success going on to Baylor and now at Carolina Panthers, doing great things. And then I was with Matt for 1 year, and probably halfway through that first year, Matt kept saying to me, well, you won't be with me long. And I didn't understand what he was saying. And I'm like, I'm loyal to you. You took me to a level that I didn't even dream of. So, as the season played out, my position had a really good year. And lo and behold, James Franklin gets the head job at Penn State, and he offers me to come as the cornerbacks coach. Being my alma mater, I jumped at the opportunity, and I've been at Penn State for the last 7 seasons complete. Thankful to be home, and I attribute my path to being genuine to young people, having a great heart and empathetic to young people and what they're going through, and trying to make decisions for them, and trying to teach these guys love this sport because it can love you back. A lot of times our young people are chasing these scholarships and they're chasing the NFL money. Well, it's going to come to an end a lot sooner than if you love football. And, when we bring guys into Penn State, we want the love of the sport, because there's going to be a more genuine interest in getting better, going through the grind and the toughness of what it takes to be a collegiate football player and eventually an NFL football player. So, we want guys that love the sport. And, and I feel like because I love football, God is taking care of me, and he's kind of directed my path, and who knows what he has for me next. But, man, I'm in a great situation, in a great place. And, I love being at Penn State, and I love working for James Franklin, who I think is the best coach in college football.
That's awesome, Coach. And I mean, to hear, your path like that, we get a lot of coaches that watch the show and, are interested in jumping to college football. And you're right. That's not the typical path that we hear, because we do this every week with different coaches. But your passion is palpable, just when you talk and, sharing that great story about Coach Rule and, how you got into that. So, that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. We want to thank you so much for coming on. And once again, I know you guys, are really busy, so this really means a lot to us. And, we'll cut this up and we'll put it on Twitter with all the highlights. And I know we'll get a lot of, kids asking, different questions. And, I'll share with them what you said about the camps, and, they can go to your team website and get more information, right?
Yes. We'll like I said, we'll have them every weekend, but on our website, I think we're going to post them within the next day or two. So, yes.
Okay, awesome. Once again, Coach, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully we'll talk again, real soon when you guys get going.
Appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
All right, guys. So that was Coach Terry Smith. He's the associate head coach at Penn State University, also coaches the DBs, and, he shared all those titles with us. So if you're just now coming on, we did talk about, the passing of legendary coach at Charlotte Catholic, Jim Otto, at the beginning of the show. He meant a lot to, all coaches here in the Charlotte metro area, especially. Great man, lived by his principles, and, touched a lot of people, while he was here. And, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him deeply. I'm going to bring on, the crew that's here right now, so you guys will know who's here. So we got, of course, the resident guru, Kenneth McClamrock. We got the queen, Miss Glenn, with the nice, lovely, flat hairstyle. I don't know what to call it, but it looks nice. And then, of course, we got the illustrious,
My man.
Shea Butter, Brandon Billups.
Looking serious tonight.
Very focused over there.
Just doing me.
All right. Oh, we got a comment. All right. Yeah, no problem, Mike. No problem at all, man. Mike played for, Coach Otto back in the 80s. And, Mike, that was a great post I saw on Facebook. appreciate you sharing that, man. I know it's a tough day for all the Catholic alumni that played for Coach
Yeah,
Otto.
man.
You guys got any words about Coach Otto? I should have asked you. I'm sorry.
I never had a chance to meet him, but I heard a lot of great things about him. I heard a lot of great stuff about him. So, my heart and prayers go out to him and his family and the Charlotte Catholic community. That was big. When I saw it this morning, I was like, dang. But
Yeah.
it was good to see all the kind words, like the relationship he built and how he was mentoring people. You never know how you mean to folks and stuff like that. So it was good to hear that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I met him once, ironically, at a strength clinic at Wake Forest University early in my career. We spoke briefly, but of course, for 17 years coaching, all the stories that I heard about Coach Otto, about his teams, so much respect across the state, really across the Southeast region. It's been incredible reading the words and the testimonies of his athletes and his former coaches. Today, truly a great loss for the state of North Carolina and countless thousands and thousands of former players and student athletes and trainers and coaches and school personnel.
Absolutely. That's well said, guys. Well said. All right, real quick, we're going to share what we got on tap here tonight. So I'm going to pull up the schedule just to give you guys an idea real quick. Just bear with me 1 second here. All right. Okay, so we just did, of course, the interview with Coach Terry Smith from Penn State, who was great. We're going to get into the rapid review. We'll start with Cabarrus County, as we always do, then we'll work on down the line. Hang in there for the CMS Best To Last at 8:15. The Blitz game previews for Week 6 at 8:30. And then we got rapid fire predictions at 8:50. Playoff talk, detailed playoff talk, 9 o'clock, and then we'll finish it up with the slime at 9:15. So Queen and Billups, I'll put you guys backstage, and we're going to go to Kenneth. One strike. And we're going to go on to the rapid review. So we're going to switch screens here. We're going to get that up. And here we go. All right, Kenneth, what we got here?
Yeah, I think a really surprising week, a tough week in some respects for Cabarrus County football. Obviously, South Meck traveled to Memorial Stadium in Kannapolis, and from all reports, South Meck just played lights out up front. Their offensive and defensive lines were just incredible. Kannapolis had an opportunity to tie it late in the game, I think in the closing seconds. Missed a field goal that would have tied the game and sent it to overtime. So kudos to South Mecklenburg. That puts A.L. Brown at 4-1, still undefeated in the conference at 4-0, headed into a big showdown this week we'll talk about later. Mount Pleasant continues to roll 5-0. Forest Hills, I got to hang out with two of my guys, Coach Riggins and Coach Pruitt, who are now coaching at Mount Pleasant. And they're so excited. They're so fired up. Their quarterback play, all four wide receivers, their running back. Defensively, they've got a freshman linebacker who they continue to rave about. So I think that the future continues to be bright for Mount Pleasant moving down the road.
Ignore that one. You can blame Pep Man's insomnia for that one, thinking Chris was in Cabarrus County. I got the wrong county on that.
Somewhere there's a game on here, and I'll get a text message in 5 minutes for us not including their win in here, I'm sure.
Who did I miss, man? Just go ahead and
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think for a second. Well, you got, I guess, Hickory Ridge. They might not want to mention that game. Sorry, I love you, Juke, but that was a rough game, and those guys are going to rebound this week. But obviously, J.M. Robinson, huge win over Concord, 28-7. The game got taken out of their hands, both teams' hands, I felt like, in the second and third quarters, just officials throwing flags like crazy. 3 touchdowns called back for J.M. Robinson, so it could have easily been 49-7. And then and a little bit of a surprise to me, West Cabarrus over Northwest Cabarrus. And I think the score was more surprising to me than anything. I I thought that Northwest would be able to put some points on the board, but West Cabarrus's defense, I've said it all year on the show, they're playing really good football right now. If they can get their offense running, they can, they have a chance these last 2 weeks. And Jim, you're exactly right. Mount Pleasant has a solid chance if they can stay healthy. They've lost an offensive lineman, which was a big blow to them a couple of weeks ago, but they're rolling right now. And we'll talk about this week's game. Of course, they have a big showdown next week versus West Stanley, which will be for the conference championship. But I'm super fired up for those guys. Super fired up for good buddies of mine, former coaches who are coaching there at Mount Pleasant with the Tigers.
All right, that's an excellent breakdown, man. Appreciate it as always, and of course, stay tuned for the Cabarrus County Blitz coming up, which will not have Crest or North Gaston on it. I promise.
Not ready for those.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, we got Gaston County review coming up, and I'll go ahead and knock that out because my Gaston County guys aren't here. They on some different assignments tonight. So, all right. So Ashbrook, Stuart Kramer. I mean, what a game. So Stuart Kramer quarterback Justin Rockmore. We interviewed him not too long ago. I think it was the inspiration of our interview. He went out and threw for over 500 yards for Stuart Kramer against Ashbrook. I mean, just incredible numbers. But Ashbrook had a late comeback, at home to get that victory, and that's another big win for Coach Darius James and his Green Wave. So congratulations to those guys, over there. Forest View Hunter Huss was another close game. Forest View was able to pull that out. They've been able to pull out a couple close victories this year. Man, I am just terrible on my slides this week. I mean, I got Catholic Parkwood. I'm sliming myself right now. We ain't waiting till the slime. I mean, this is just bad on my part. Good gracious. All right, Burns over East Gaston, 49-6. East Gaston having a tough year. First year head coach trying to get things settled over there. But we know Burns has a ton of talent, out of Cleveland County. Game Joe Hughes was at RS Central over South Point, 21-19. Close game. Both teams running the ball real hard. Old school 1980s football in that one. RS Central having a really good season. Community School of Davidson over our buddy OP at Highland Tech, 42-14. That's a big win for them. Game we were at last week, Pine Lake Prep over Mountain Island Charter, 46-26. Pine Lake Prep rushed for over 375 yards in that game. And that put Mountain Island Charter in a tough situation. They've got a game this week with Community School of Davidson that's almost going to be a loser-leave town match in terms of the playoffs, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then, of course, in the Cleveland County Championship is what I call it, a great classic game. Kings Mountain defeating Shelby 36-35 in another game that Joe Hughes attended. Had some great updates on Twitter during the game. And Kings Mountain won in Shelby for the first time since 1986. Congratulations to those Mounties out there at Kings Mountain. Big win for them. Shelby has nothing to be ashamed of. Both of those teams are going to be, very high seeds in the playoffs, when those get started here in 2 weeks. All right, so now we got the Mecklenburg County review, and hopefully I got these games right. It looks like I did, thank goodness. I'm going to bring on the rest of the crew. I got the Queen, I got the illustrious Billups, and then I got producer Brandon, who has now joined us. All right, guys, y'all give me your thoughts, on what you see on the screen right there in last week's Mecklenburg County action.
Let's see. So, big shout out to Hopewell, getting the monkey off their back, getting that first victory of the season. I think Vance was, for a lot of that game, the Vance Lake Norman was a lot closer than a lot of people probably anticipated. I believe Lake Norman was up at the half, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were.
So yeah, that was a lot closer than probably some people probably anticipated. I think Olympic and Providence, let's just be honest, I think those played out exactly how everyone anticipated. No big surprises on those. And, got to pay attention. I mean, Mallard Creek's getting it back going. Might have sputtered a little bit at the beginning, but, the engine seems to be running a lot better. And just RJKL just unleashing a complete onslaught, 70 points. So
yeah.
not too much you can say there, but,
that game was 63-0 at halftime.
Right. So there's a bit of a mercy rule in there, but they just flexing their muscle a little bit there. So
A little bit about that RGK Berry game. I did learn that Berry was without their starting quarterback Jaleel Quick, so that's obviously a big factor in their offense. So that, but nevertheless, RGK, awesome performance. I said on Friday Night Live, I think they're a little upset about how that Olympic game ended, and our buddy Jameer Moton with a pick six. I know, Billups, I know you're happy about that. We've been getting on them about dropping them. So shout out to you.
I ain't happy about nothing because you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say this.
What did I do now?
You know good and damn well you ain't had to put that first score up there first. You could have easily put.
Man.
Hey, look.
You could have. Hold up. Let me finish. You could have easily put this there Providence Father the Harder up there first, but you want to put my. You know what? Enjoy this your show.
That is not on purpose, man. Good gracious.
You try to use camouflage. You probably put little Providence whooping up on Hart. I'm gonna say, man, I was not shot that Providence beat Hart. You want to say this? Go ahead and say what you want to say about my school.
Ain't nobody said nothing about y'all, man.
Because Brandon is classy. Brandon is classy. Cherie, she might say something. Well, no, I've been nice to Cherie lately, so I might not get no heat. But you,
I didn't say nothing. You coming at me with no reason.
You evil. You get out on purpose.
Man.
I saw this. I can't wait to see this Best to Last.
Oh yeah, okay.
Nah, but all jokes aside, it's nothing really to say about, at the game, man. Curtis Neal is a freak, and Tad Hudson is the real deal. Y'all just gotta give Huff. Shout out to the OC coach Olsen over there. He's doing a great job. It's not, they ain't falling off. I think he really got things rolling. Don't judge Huff off that first game. Huff is a force to be reckoned with. I'm not saying just because they whooped up on us, but just imagine the Huff had all the studs that didn't go to school early. That's why I'm telling you that. Yes. They'd be really, really scary. I heard a lot about the advanced and late Norman game. There's a lot of penalties, a lot of flags.
Okay.
That's why, I ain't don't say, late Norman the real deal, but I heard there was a lot of unnecessary flags going on. RGK and Barry just learned that the quarterback was hurt, and I'm not judging nobody, but you got your backup in there. I wouldn't throw the ball as much as they did. Because that's it. They really said that really happened. And, you got 3 pick six return for touchdown, 3 pick sixes. That's tough. Creek is Creek. Like I told everybody, Creek is, they're picking up, but they got a tough game this week. That Creek and Huff game don't show Creek really is rolling. Butler, I think Butler came out on a point to prove. And I think they got top. Yeah. I think they got tired. Everybody sitting here picking on Cherie saying they not one of the top teams, and Butler said, "Hold up, let me show you something right quick." All the other games went the way you thought they would go. Garringer don't get things. I'm telling y'all look at these Garringer scores. They're really not that bad. They're really not that. This is probably one of the most disciplined Garringer teams they don't have in a long time. They just got to get things rolling, and I'm just glad them young men are still playing football down there. And shout out to my boy, even though you don't get on, shout out to my boy Joe. That was a big win at going to A.L. Brown, doing what he did. That was big. Yeah. That was real big. And I got a message for you, man. Coach Trotter, he told me, he said he tired of disrespect. at Pilot Prep. He said, y'all better talk nice about Pilot Prep. He said, what else you got to do?
Billups, hey, Billups, just one thing, man. We were there.
I know, but he told me, he DM'd me, and he said, don't ever count him out. He said, shout out to my boy, Coach Shaw. I love him. Good job. And no, I don't want to talk no more about West Shaw and Huff right now. We're on to Mooresville.
We didn't ask you. Queen, what you got?
Sucker. Get my game first.
Pretty much like you guys have said, all the games have kind of gone the way, we thought they would go. I don't know. I might still be a little loopy after taking that hit.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You stopped the run, though. You did it. You stopped him dead in his tracks.
That boy,
Hold up.
I think they said
Hold
was
up.
like
You got ran over?
45 pounds, and he
No.
ran me over.
She
Like,
squared up with him.
With who?
a player was running out of bounds, and I was
What
filming
team?
it. Puerto Ridge.
She kept contained and made the hit. I'm not
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Yeah.
Hey, and
out there to film. You're out there to film, not play.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Hey, she put the video up, and I'm gonna tell you that was a hell of a job. I mean, you got, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I shared it,
Great
on
shot.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good
it's on there.
stuff.
It's on there.
Did you say when you got hit? Did you say, "Oh Lord," or did you? You grunted?
No, I just kind of fell backwards. I lost my phone, and I had to go back and pick it up.
Oh Lord, you gotta have the quick feel up there. You gotta take the Mike Tomlin.
Well, listen. I mean, they said I
Two-step
got
get
up
out.
back and do that, so that's
They
all I
supposed to
said.
say that. I'm gonna let me review the tape.
But anyway, so yeah, so
I gotta review the tape.
it was a
Oh,
good game
Lord.
overall, though. Like, it really was. They were a lot closer in the first half than the second. Puerto Ridge kind of opened up a little bit, and I think they scored, the last 2 touchdowns or something like that. So yeah.
Okay. Man, Puerto Ridge has got a big game with Myers Park. We're going to preview here in just a second. But now, let me bring Kenneth on too, because when we get to this best to last, I might need him to virtually restrain the illustrious Billups over there. So
I know you probably got us in last. It's all right.
I ain't got you in last.
Got Harden above us.
I should. I should.
Well, y'all getting whooped. Let me stop.
All right, CMS Best to Last. There it is. So, big changes here. Of course, South Meck moved them up to number 9. Big win over A.L. Brown. That was a really, really program-defining victory for the Sabres. But, pretty much in the top, pretty much the right side of the screen stays the same, with everyone else, because everyone else won on the right side. On the left side, we made a couple of changes. Wait a minute. I got a couple comments over here we got to get. Hold on. How I got to address this? I am not biased based on my Harden roots, Jim West. Jim West, you've known me for years. I am very fair, and I do not show my Harding bias. I could, but I do not. That's just how the order fell, that, the Huff West Charlotte game was first in the order. It was just a coincidence. It was not on purpose. I was not trying to bury the Providence Harding score. So
yes, it was.
That is not accurate.
Why you ain't talking about the game then? What happened at Providence versus Harding? I missed that game. Did y'all see the game? Because I missed it. What on preview for me? What happened?
We've moved on, sir.
Exactly.
Right. Joe Hughes asked Cherie is an usher was present to drape her with a blanket.
She thought the Holy Ghost. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Oh goodness gracious.
Oh Lord.
All right.
Oh Lord. Bless you.
Anyway, I had to get those comments.
Hey, Joe said you got it.
All right. So on the left side of the screen, of course, we still got some different orders. We had to move some teams around. But pretty much, like I said, the right side of the screen pretty much stays the same. What thoughts do you guys have?
I have none. I think this is a great list, right? But I'm not going to say what I feel. I got a lot of respect for them teams on the right-hand side, so I'm going to be quiet.
All right, we'll see you in the next segment. All right, what else y'all got?
I got no apparent, nothing sticking out that I would switch just yet.
What was Butler last week?
There was who?
Butler.
Same spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 1 through 8 is the same, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm. Yep. No changes 1 through 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think the right side is right on it. We've talked about the fluidity of that left side when those teams play against each other, or whenever they play a team on the right. That could change some movement on the left side. But I think that if I'm Huff, that's where I want to be right now, going into the last week of the season, going to these last 2 games. The season, 2 big games. I want to use that as fuel for my guys. Obviously, Providence is rolling, man. I think that Providence, man, that's a good football team.
Absolutely. Producer, you got anything?
I think everything's pretty much lining up where they see, like you say, most of that right side won. South Meck jumped over to the right. No, I think it's about where it should, based on them winning and based on the head-to-head matchups.
Okay.
Kudos to stinking Coach Hells in Butler High School, buddy. I mean, that's a good number 3 ranked team in the city. Holy cow!
I think they got mad when you attacked me last week about Cabarrus County. Hells is my boy. You made me look good, man. You made me look good, man. I owe you some chicken wings.
I mean, Coach Hells is always fired up, so I don't think he needed any extra fuel there.
No. Queen, you got any thoughts?
Nope, just now that I see, I mean, y'all know I'm still riding with Butler.
We know. We know.
It's a good. I want to actually get to one of those games, but I will be, Harding West Meck this week, and so I'll get to see where those teams stack up amongst one another.
Absolutely. We got a comment from our buddy Jim West. He says, I agree with the ranking 1 through 6 in that order. AK and the Creek could go either way. South Meck makes sense at 9, 10 through 13 are interchangeable. 14, 15 interchangeable. Agree with 16 through 19. So, hey, Jim West, high school football expert, if he agrees, I know we're doing something right here on the Best to Last, for sure. All right. Hey, I see your little comment there, Billups. I see your little comment. It's okay. You know what you said. You know what you said.
Got a screenshot.
You being biased, I don't be biased. Go West Meck. Run it up.
That's okay.
Run it up.
That's okay.
I hope they do. No disrespect to Harden. It's all Pep's fault. Run it up. And that score better be the top score, highlighted in bold.
Queen will have all the Harding West Meck updates that I'm sure you will appreciate, and I
don't be worried about Mooresville.
We don't want to be involved in it again, though. We just want the highlights.
Right.
Don't get naughty.
Hey, man, I took that shot. I'm very proud.
He said you got annoying. Oh, Lord. Get him out there. You got your credit got healed like my man used to heal the credit back in the day.
Apple Auto Sales.
You Charlotte wins.
Only on Football Focus Weekly when you get an Apple Auto Sales reference. God almighty.
I can heal your credit. Oh, Lord.
We need a sponsor.
Okay, now. We can actually kind of mess around. We actually ahead of schedule for once, so I'll let that go.
Hey, man, you did a good job, man. Hey, Joe took down one of the Titans of Cabarrus County, so, hey, he deserves to be 9. Let's go, Joe. Good job, South, man. That made my night. That was the best game out here. They get on my boy Kenny so bad. Shame on y'all, A.O. Brown. Get on Kenny. Y'all boy, Joe went down there and got y'all, man. You know I love A.O. Brown. My boys over there, but oh, Lord.
Oh, goodness gracious.
My man Joe didn't know what to do. I saw that look in his eyes. He was trying to be all serious. I was laughing so hard. I said, look at Joe. I'm proud of him.
Hey, now we got to move on now because Miss Monroe's getting mad at us. So.
Oh, no, go blue. Go blue. Blue, my boy.
Right,
you on your side, Miss Monroe. I ain't no talk bad about y'all. We ain't talk bad about y'all.
All right, so y'all sit tight for a minute because it's Mr. McClamrock's time. So we got to Miss Monroe. I'm sorry. We had to talk about Apple Auto Sales for a minute. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, Kenneth, you got the big one right here. Let's go.
Pep, I'm going to go a little bit out of order from what you have here because I'm going to leave that top game to the very end. And I'm also going to bring up, I know that they're playing in Charlotte this week, so you'll have it with the Charlotte guys. But, Hickory Ridge is playing at East Mac. Obviously, Hickory Ridge has had 2 really, really, really tough games back-to-back going up to East Mac. But I think Coach Wilson and the Raging Bulls get back on track this week. Mount Pleasant at Montgomery Central. I mean, Mount Pleasant, this is the last hurdle before their big conference showdown with West Stanley next week. I mentioned it earlier. I mean, the Tyson kid at quarterback and all 4 of the wide receivers, they've got a stable core of running backs who are just doing big things, and their defense is playing lights out right now. Mount Pleasant continues to roll versus Montgomery Central. Northwest at Providence Grove. No disrespect to Providence Grove. I had to look you guys up because I just didn't know about you. But Providence Grove has lost to 2 really, really good teams. Eastern Randolph is 4-0. Randleman is 5-0. They've scored a lot of points versus not really good teams. Northwest Cabarrus, they're kind of in this number right here. How much are those kids buying into Coach Mormon and what he's preaching? How much is the loss? How much of a loss are they feeling to all the kids who left and went to the new school? But you know what? I'm going to go with Northwest Cabarrus on that one. I talked to one of my old coaching buddies, Coach Conley, who coaches the defensive line there last week. So I'm going Northwest Cabarrus. Game that you're missing, Pep, Cox Mill at Concord.
I knew I missed one.
Cox Mill. I mentioned it last week. Coach Baker is starting to have those guys buying into what he's doing. I told you guys they played a tough game versus Kannapolis, and the following week they played a tough game versus J.M. Robinson. I wanted, obviously, my guys to win at Central Cabarrus last week, but Cox Mill did a heck of a job containing those guys, got their first win. Cox Mill's playing at Concord. I saw Concord in person for the first time this past week. Was really impressed by Concord's offensive line. Was really impressed by the running back. I think he runs the ball hard. The quarterback, whose grandparents are my neighbors, great people, by the way, did a really nice job, pulled some options and had several nice runs in the middle of the game. I'm going with Cox Mill. I'm going with you, Jim. I'm going with Cox Mill over Concord. I think that Coach Baker is going to do some really, really nice things with the Chargers. And then lastly, the Big Daddy game this week, the game that where I will be on Thursday night, man. J.M. Robinson, 5-0 for the first time since, I believe, 2004. The school was opened up not too much longer before that. J.M. Robinson, they keep losing players. They've lost one of their top players, it seems like, every single week with season-ending injuries. And somehow J.M. Robinson keeps plugging guys in, and they just keep rolling. And I say somehow, it's somehow to people who don't know Darius Robinson. But I know how he works, man. That joker, it doesn't matter. Give him 13 players, and he's going to find a way to win, and that's what he's done. They have the top offense in the county. They have the top defense in the county. Obviously, A.L. Brown's coming off of their first loss. They have to travel to JMR, which I think is good news for the Bulldogs. But you already know where I'm going with this one. A.L. Brown, sorry, big dogs, but I'm going with my dog, D-Rob. I'm going with my guys, Coach Holt and Coach Barnes and Coach Fall, and I'm going with my dude, Blue Monroe, man. That dude is the toughest joker. Let me tell you, 3rd and short, 4th and short, the ball is going to be in number 7's hands. And word of advice to defenders, do not try to tackle Blue Monroe up high. He will run your butt over. He is stronger than you are. He is more physical than you are, and he is not afraid to show off that skill set that he has. I'm going D-Rob 6-0 after this week.
Well, Jim West doesn't agree. He's taking.
He can't always be right. Jim's a good dude.
Well, the good thing about this, Kenneth, A.L. Brown's social media didn't have a lot of time to cut this up and put it in the locker room. So, I think you're safe.
They'll have something ready. But, I'll tell you what, Jim, talking about that, I think that Kannapolis beat J.M. Robinson something like 40-0 last year. Of course, J.M. Robinson only won one football game each of the last 2 seasons. They're at 5-0 right now. This is a huge game, man. And when I talked to D-Rob on Monday, he said that he had never seen a group of players as focused as what his players were Monday at practice. That there was an aura about them. There was a sense of confidence about them that he has never experienced. And of course, he's been around some really good football teams when he was at that school up the road. They had that crazy 5 overtime game. What was that, in the semifinals or the quarterfinals? I can't remember now off the top of my head. But that says a lot about that. If he felt like that is the most focused he's ever seen a team in a practice.
Absolutely, man. So once again, as usual, great analysis, and I know you'll have some great updates. Make sure you follow Kenneth McClamrock on Twitter. If you search his name, he'll come right up. He'll have the detailed updates from A.L. Brown at J.M. Robinson. Huge game at Cabarrus County for the South Piedmont Conference Championship. So we'll see you on the slime, sir. It's going to be an exciting slime, too. So stay tuned. All right. Real quick. Hey, Nikisha. I have a CFI store, by the way, guys. I'm going to share that later on before the end of the show. You can purchase your own CFI gear. Nikisha was the first person to purchase CFI gear. So shout out to you. Thank you. All right. I had to get a little plug in there. I'm sorry. Gaston County. Real quick, I'm going to run through this. Ashbrook at North Gaston. North Gaston coach Clark, great guy. His first season, he's trying to, get things going. Circle the wagons is their hashtag. But Coach Darius James, man, they got a couple victories over to Ashbrook, and, you kind of have to favor them right now over North Gaston. But 2 really good coaches, and that's going to be a fun game with good people, involved. Once again, talking about good people, Coach Thompson and Hunter Huss going to Stuart Kramer. They go against the air show that is Justin Rockmore and those guys. I mean, good gracious. I mean, they're putting up incredible numbers and throwing the football. Forest View at Kings Mountain. Kings Mountain coming off that big win over Shelby. Could Forest View catch them, on a little, sleep tip? I don't know. It's been, Forest View's had an up and down season, but, Kings Mountain with so much talent. Javari Rice Wilson at the defensive end spot. Ethan Reed at the quarterback spot, Brooks at the running back spot. It's just, so much talent over there for those guys, having a great season. Union Academy at Highland Tech. Highland Tech has a shot. I was looking at their schedule today. They have a shot at the playoffs. If they win out, they've got Union Academy and they got Christ the King, as their last 2 games on the schedule. Their conference has 3 automatic bids because they're in a 9-team conference. So if they win out, they have a legitimate playoff shot, which is, really good for a program that has struggled, for the past couple of years. And, our buddy, Coach Otis Powell, I know is out there, getting those guys right for a big game, for them. And another big game, Community School Davidson at Mountain Island Charter. Both of these teams, are in that same place of Highland Tech in the conference right now. The team that loses this game will not make the playoffs, plain and simple. Both of those schools are in a position where if they win out, they could get in a spot to get that number 3 playoff seed out of their conference. But I feel like Mountain Island is really going to come out with some fire this week. I feel like they were a little embarrassed last week with their performance against Pine Lake, and they're going to try to come out and rectify some things. And then on Monday, with the crazy COVID situation, we got North Gaston at Forest View. So 2 games in a short period of time for those teams. We just talked about both of those schools right there. So that's the Gaston County Blitz right there for you. All right, so let's go to the Mecklenburg County Blitz. We're going to bring on the rest of the crew. This is part 1 of the Mecklenburg County Blitz. We got the Queen, Illustrious Billups, and producer Brandon. All right. Lake Norman at Hopewell. You guys got some thoughts on that one?
I think Lake Norman is certainly going to be, coming off a loss, a game where they were up. They're certainly going to be motivated, but so is Hopewell. Hopewell got off the schneid, so I think you're looking at 2 motivated teams there, so that could amount for a really good game.
The big thing for this one is, Lake Norman still has some shot at the playoff berth. They have 2 losses in the conference, but they know they have to win out, to have a shot at a wild card spot. Because the IMEX only going to take 2 teams, and those 2 teams look like they're going to be Vance and Huff, no matter what happens in the last week of the season when they face each other. Hopewell, I believe this is their senior night. I think I saw that on social media. A great group of seniors for those guys. Some really talented players. I know, Billups, you're close to a lot of those guys.
Yeah, that was my freshman class before I left.
Mm-hmm.
Good kids, bunch of great kids. I was glad to see him get that first dub. It's a tough game, but I want to count Coach Bird and them out over there. You got to go against Lake Norman. You got to be gritty. You got to play. You got to be ready to hit, and you got to be ready to score when you got the ball on offense. That defense is nasty too. Everybody talk about that offense. That Lake Norman defense is pretty good too. So it's gonna be. You got to be ready to buckle your chin strap up when you play Lake Norman. That's all I would say.
Yeah, the Lake Norman linebacker number 5, Sakari. I can't think of his last name. I think Sakari Morrison. He is impressive, man. He is an impressive player that doesn't get a lot of pub, but we're gonna reach out to him pretty soon and get to know him a little bit. All right, Mallard Creek at Huff. This is a traditional rival game. We know in the past these schools really Anyway, I won't get into that too much there, but obviously we talked about the improvement that Mallard Creek has been making over the past few games. And I think, who said it, that this was going to be their litmus test? I think, was that you, Brandon?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, it's their test for real. Like, I don't talk bad. I just try to stay neutral and be a politician because I'm in season. These are people in my conference. But Huff, Creek has got to come ready to play. They got to have that swag because Huff don't come ready to play. That Huff is one of the meanest football teams out there. Everybody give Vance. They probably could Vance is fast and physical. Huff, they got a grown man on that D line. He don't come to play with nobody kids. I tell you, he's mean. He's nasty. But Creek got athletes too. That quarterback get that passing game going, it'd be interesting. But like I said, I think Coach Ocean over there, he's really getting the OC stuff figured out. He got that offensive movement because he was doing some things against us. We haven't seen him do. And that running back, my Lord, number 22 is a grown man. That's a big back. Y'all want to. You need a big back. Huff got one. He like 240 pounds. Like it ain't. He say like 225. That boy ain't 225. He's 225. I'm darn 230. But that's a big boy. And he runs like a speed back. He got nice feet. He can run. But this is a big test for Creek to see where Creek's at. I ain't gonna count Creek out, but they got to come ready. You got to come ready for when you play Huff.
Absolutely. And that back you're talking about is Caden Bell McKeithen. He was the one that we did the interview with his offensive line. Real good kid. And, he had a couple nice highlights when we saw him against Lake Norman just running people over. So, yeah, I concur 100%. North Mech Advance. We just interviewed the North Mech linebacker / DN Torrance Woodard, number 19, who's a really good player on the edge for those guys. But this is going to be a tall hill to climb for North Mech right here.
Did they lay on that running back? On that running back, them two tall receivers they got the old line, D line. North Mech is not. I want everybody to know North Mech's not a bad team. They're not a bad team. They got some athletes over there, and that running back they got, number 22. I don't know his name. He runs like a grown man. Like he runs angry, and he's running straight at you. He's not juking. He's on stride. He hits you right in the mouth. It's a good challenge because Vance is a very physical defense, and they like that. Vance wants to smoke. They want to smoke on offense. They want to smoke on defense. That's just how Vance are. They play like how their coordinators coaching them play. So it's an interesting game. I do think Vance will win it. But like I said, North Mech. A lot of people count a lot of these IMEC teams out with the 1 wins, but I'm telling you right now, North Mech's not a slouch. They're not a slouch.
All right. Anyone else on North Mech? Oh, let me bring OP on. OP's ready. What's up, man?
Man, nothing, man. Picture day, man. That's all. Picture day.
You ain't got to say nothing else. I know that's a special day for a coach, boy. Oof. Woo. All right. West Charlotte at Mooresville.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet because I'm biased. So I'm not gonna be quiet.
You know what? We'll just take you off the screen. We'll make it.
No, because I gotta be here because Otis is here because we got a game we gotta talk about. We got a game we gotta talk about. Leave me on.
Okay. All right.
And he already knows.
Go ahead, producer.
I think
So since Bill
with
can't
this one,
talk about this,
I think where Charlotte should be motivated here, and I think they'll, on paper, where Charlotte should win this.
Go ahead, OP.
Since Bill can't speak on this game, I'm gonna speak on it. So all my referees, all my baseball players, we gotta win this game on tomorrow night. Take care of business. That's all I'm gonna say. West Charlotte gonna take care of business and get this done. That's it.
All right. Queen, you got anything?
You're muted. I got she got anointing again. Oh Lord.
Oh God. Oh
No,
God.
but I did actually have something to say about the North Mac Vance game.
Okay.
I was talking to somebody that came and saw me at work over the weekend, and they were saying that one thing for North Mac, if they could, would be to get a sort of passing game going, because usually that's where Vance's defense is pretty weak. And so, that's how, if they can find a way to slow the game down a little bit, I don't know if they're going to beat Vance, probably not, but, that would be a way to keep them in that game.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Please, Coach Haggard, she didn't mean that.
All right. Barry at South Mech. Interesting game here.
I'm riding with Joe. Let's go, Joe. Don't get you. Even though I respect Barry, I'm riding with my boy Joe. Just because that's my boy. But it's gonna be a good game. We got Panos over there. You got a bunch of athletes over there. I really respect itself, man. You guys, Barry. At the quarterback back, it's gonna be an interesting game. I'll tell you that. It'll be
I think he'll be back this week. And the big thing about this is if the Barry O-line can pass protect, can they hit some things? Yeah, can they hit some things downfield against that South Mech secondary, who has one of our favorite players in Takai Moss, out there, at the corner spot. But this is a game now. But right now, both of these teams, are not looking at the playoffs, but both of these teams have a lot of young players that are going to be back in the fall. So this is an important game for building momentum into what's going to happen, in the fall with the full season. So this is a kind of a mid-tier game in the SOMEX 7, but it's going to be one I'm going to watch closely because I'm interested to see, how these teams are going to perform, pretty much for pride. I think it's going to say a lot about both of those programs, this week. And I agree. It'll be interesting to see how South Mech takes prosperity and can they build on it, or will they, kind of, fall back a little bit because it's not a opponent like A.L. Brown. Couple things real quick. Takai will be taking care of anything they have. Well, he is one of the best cover corners in the SOMEX 7. I said that on Twitter the other day when I saw his highlights. And then he's also certified for the camp that I'm going to talk about later on. And then Miss Kilmore, Myers Park's on that next slide. So just hang in there. This is the first slide.
Oh, yeah, we don't show love to the big boy.
Yeah.
We don't show love to him.
Trust me, it's coming. It's coming. All right. So, OP and Illustrious, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. I'm gonna put us in the background for a minute, and y'all two go at it. Olympic at Providence, the big one this week. Floor is yours.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, you got it. I like to clean up. I like to clean up.
I mean, this is for all the marbles in the SOMAC conference. This is for everything. This is first place in the conference. This is for that first to fourth place bracket in playoff. So everything's on the table for both teams to win. But I mean, my heart and soul is with Olympic High School. I believe, no doubt. I think they showed grit last week and the week before to come back and win a ball game and stay strong, not get over themselves and not get down on giving up something late, but to come through and win that ball game in overtime. The defense stepped up. The offense played better last week, and they're going to get better every week. And I just think this is just a conference championship game, and Olympic is going to come out on top.
All right, there it is. All right, illustrious. Hold on, I'm gonna blow him up. I'm gonna blow you up.
I'm not wearing it.
He's not wearing it. I got it clean. Providence. Y'all already know. Y'all know. You got my boy Luke Bailey over there. Everybody talking about it. Y'all worrying about one receiver, but we got other one. We got Anthony Tando over there balling right now. He couldn't catch last year, but he catching this year. I don't know what happened. Coach Bills must have left. He didn't feel that pressure. He catch now. But we balling. He's balling this year. My boy Nathan Hodju, he running the ball. He playing corner. He playing safety. Then you got the hammer. You got John Ballas. Ooh, he's cold. He's one of the coldest white boys I know. Then you got the other freak, Darren Rice. He took the week off last week. He had to rest his name because he said, Coach, I gotta go hunt some Trojans this week. I said, woo. Then you got Mason Atkins, and you got Holland Stone playing out of his mind. You got Connor Drake on that line. You got Jalen Brooks on that line. Then you got one of the most overlooked O-linemen out there. You got Mark Tomanovich. Yes, Tomanovich, Otis. Tomanovich. He's a freak. Listen, you got I interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you. No, let me tell you first. You got Nate Taylor, the pit bull of that O-line at center. He done ready to go. And then you got my boy over there. You got Sam Baker. You got Lucas. Then the drop. I mess his name up because I always do Lucas like that. I don't like to pick on him because that's how I do. You got my boy Mason Brown. You got my boy Graham. But when you saw his highlight, Otis, I retweeted just for you. He coming down, running down alley, smacking. We don't let you rush at Providence, and you're coming to the Providence. You coming over there, you better be ready to go on that bus because if y'all don't lose, I'm making a video and I'm calling you out. And because I know if we lose, I know if Providence lose. You got them boys already got videos and pictures of me already because I know you, Otis. You probably don't get in the picture. You probably told them where I live at. They probably don't pull up my house because I know you, Otis, and I ain't coming home.
Oh gosh.
But I like Providence in it, man. I love Providence. I love what West. I love what Coach Johnson doing over there. That's my second favorite team in Charlotte. I'm a Lion. I love my Lion. But respect to Olympic, they're doing some great things over there. I love Cameron. I love both the Camerons over there. I love the quarterback. That defense is playing out of the world. They face some adversity, but it's gonna be a good game. But I think Providence don't get it. They don't be at home. You got to come to Providence this time. And I hope they don't got that ref like they had last year. Because you know what happened last year. You know they cheated us last year. They cheated us last year. Boy, that was a fourth down stop, and they know it. And they got lucky. But this time, there ain't no luck. The football guys don't be on our side. We don't put you on that bus. Let's go.
So, Bill,
I'm just going to leave that right there.
Calling out people's names.
Now
that somebody posted and said, oh, Providence line is 1,300 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
They are. Yeah, worry about that.
I could kill that.
You better kill.
Across the front. You got to block 44 and you got to block 9.
We don't block them.
A lot of people block 44
That's true.
and 9 in the games that I don't see only the play. Now if you double 9, then you got to deal with 44.
Man, we ain't doubling. I ain't gonna get a game plan.
Number 8 in the middle.
I ain't gonna get a game plan.
I hope that you've been watching film. And
I've been watching film on Mooresville. I'm a coach of West Charlotte. I'm a fan of Providence. I can't watch film on Olympic.
Okay.
I love what Olympic doing.
But you
asked me my
just act
opinion.
like
All right.
like
So
you was a coach. You was calling out numbers and fans.
I know, yeah. I get on the show, you gotta have content. It's called content. I gotta do research.
Okay, I'm glad,
all right, so
glad you did your research.
I think we've given this a proper breakdown.
He's my guy, man. I got your shirt though.
So we will. I'll hold Brandon back. I think he stepped away, but me and Brandon will be at this game. I think Next Gen is going to be at this game. It's the game of the week that's streaming, so there's going to be a lot of attention, and rightfully so.
Shout out to my boy Coach Hart. That's my guy.
And there he is. We just teaching the fundamentals, so there you go. Coach Hart, I'll see you again on Thursday, man. Tomorrow. We'll be there. Yes, sir. All right, Wes Harding. Hold on. Let me put this up here real quick. Wes Harding will be a Pride game. I will take Harding. Thank you, Jim West. Thank you, Jim West. That's right.
The Hawks now.
That's right. I believe in Coach Smith and the Harding Rams, man. Let's go. This is a rival game, and we going to own this part of the dang on West Side. I just lost something. Something just disconnected. All right, y'all go.
Because whatever you said, that didn't believe it. That thing got out of there. They said, whoa. They said, whoa. Whoa.
Oh, y'all got any thoughts on that?
I'm with Mr. West on this one, not about who I'm picking, but just about the fact that this is going to be a Pride game. When I was looking through the games of the week to go to, this one caught my eye because I'm like, both of these teams have been, fighting through whatever adversity they've had to deal with, to this point in the season, and somebody's got to win, and I'd like to be there for that. I have 3 generations of Rams in my family, though, so that tells you where I'm leaning. But it'll be a good game for me.
Pride game.
That's good.
Right.
You know what?
That's right. That's right. Let's go. Let's go.
Shout out to Jesse Wilkins, the AD over there, my brother. Let's go.
I'm also
go Hawks.
I got a Hawk on my side too.
All right, so of course the Queen will be at that game. This game is being played at Olympic, by the way. So if you go into Harding, don't go down Allegheny. Just keep on going down South Tryon.
They want to play the swamp.
Well, I ain't even get on my soapbox about that. Anyway.
Oh, see, there you go. Don't be biased. It's your show.
No. Let's keep moving. All right. Butler at Garinger. I mean, we pretty much, know what's going to happen there.
Go give good, Garinger. Go give good, Garinger. Let's go.
All right, same kind of deal. Kenneth broke down Hickory Ridge at East Meck. I think, Hickory Ridge is going to be,
Oh, yeah, Duke don't have them rolling.
Yeah, they're going to be eager to get back out there and get that taste out their mouths. All right, big game. Myers Park at Porter Ridge. Porter Ridge with a shot, to get into this race for one of the playoff bids. They're 4-1, and, of course, Myers Park is undefeated. So, what's our thoughts on that one?
I'm not picking against Myers Park no more. I think Myers Park got it.
Okay.
They're not gonna. I think Myers Park obviously is gonna be the favorite in the game, but they're not gonna run away with it. I think that's gonna be Porter Ridge is gonna hang in there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Queen, you just saw Porter Ridge. What were your thoughts on them?
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I mean, I think I posted one of they got a good quarterback out there. And they were able to make some connections during that game against Rocky River, and I honestly think that this is going to be a really good game. Obviously, we want to see. You want to. I don't know what to expect from this, but I do know it's going to be a good game, and Porter Ridge is going to make it very difficult for them.
Yeah, we saw Myers Park and Hickory Ridge. Me and you, Brandon. And this is Porter Ridge, just watching them, they have some similarities to Hickory Ridge. And I think this is going to be a close game. I really do. Historically, Porter Ridge has given Myers Park issues in situations like this. I can remember a couple years ago, Porter Ridge was at Myers Park, and in kind of a similar situation. Myers Park was at the top of the conference. Porter Ridge was kind of in that third, fourth, mid-tier spot, and it ended up being a 9-7 Myers Park victory. For some reason, Porter Ridge has always given Myers Park problems. And, the way that this season is going, this would not surprise me if this game was a lot closer than people expected, But that's and we'll get to they're in the predictions coming up here shortly, so we'll give predictions on that one as well.
You see my comments, you see my love. Yeah.
You never miss a comment that highlights you, do you?
I see the ones that speak negative about me. I'll let you post them too.
Thank you, Jeff Taylor. Jeff Taylor has been one of our dedicated people on Friday Night Live show, so appreciate you showing some love tonight also, Jeff. All right, Rocky River to Independence. This is the Battle of Mint Hill.
I agree with what Jim said, though.
Okay. Yeah, here we go. Rocky River could defeat Indy, might be closer than many believe. I think this is going to be a very close game.
Yeah.
This is going to be if you don't have anywhere to go and you want to see a good game, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I think, all jokes aside, I think that game in the battle of the Midwest side over there might be a good game. It ain't the real West side, but it's about the Midwest,
Okay.
Hardin, West Mint. Because West Charlotte's the West side,
Yeah.
What is it then? If Allegheny ain't the West side, then what is it?
I said the Midwest.
Midwest side, the Midwest side of Charlotte. That's a new one. God,
the Lower West. The Lower West. We're the Upper West.
All right, moving on. I'm sorry, Parrish. I'm sorry, Parrish. You guys do own Mint Hill. I'm sorry. So,
I love Parrish.
Yeah, my bad. For you guys that don't know, that's the Butler quarterback. So.
Hey,
yeah. And yeah, you had a real good game, man. I love the way you throwing the ball downfield. Yeah, that was really awesome.
Now you trying to give some love, Pete. Pete, trying to give some love now.
I'm just being real. Well, you know what, man?
You are.
Joe Hughes, I don't know. I might be the top hater tonight, man. I'm really trying to be genuine.
Hey, you want to know something? You want to know something? You right. Because everybody else got CFI gear, and I ain't got no gear.
I told you to let me know when you're available. I have told you this on several occasions, and you have failed to let me know when you're available.
Man, I'm about to go upstairs and play Madden, man. Where you going? God. Can't get a shirt. Can't get a hat.
I got all that stuff in my car. It's been there for weeks. It's still in there.
Shoot, do I gotta get anointed on the sideline to get some gear like Sharice?
Oh, good gracious! All right, let's see. Okay, Argentine AC Reynolds. Now this is a good game right here, man. This is gonna be Friday at AC Reynolds, and AC Reynolds is a dang on good football team.
Yeah.
So Jim West had a thought on that one. Says if AK beat AC Reynolds and AK is the real deal, it's gonna be hard to beat ACR in the mountains. Hey, it's gonna be cold. Is there gonna be snow?
Hey, I remember when we went up there in 02 for that playoff game. Mm-hmm. We came out there, it was sunny. When we got there, then we came out for the game, it was snow. We all ran back inside, put out the boxes and sweatshirts on. Unfortunately, the dub, we lost to the snow that day.
But hey, that's gonna be a heck of a game, man. That's gonna be a heck of a game right there. Miss Moulton, I'm looking forward to the competition. Hey,
she ain't going up there to the mountains. She's lying.
Why not? That's a nice little trip, man. Asheville's a great city. You can spend the night, and go to the Biltmore the next day, and make a whole weekend out of it.
Travel for pep. Side hustle.
CFI travel agency.
Yeah.
Hey,
travel focus weekly.
Now this is a great friend right here. Nakisha done posted the link to the CFI store. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. You got friends like that, man. Who needs enemies? That's awesome, man.
Let me tell you something.
Thank you.
least she probably get her sweatshirt before I get in my stuff. Before I get a cup. I can't even get a beer koozie. She probably get a cup.
Man, look, I will come to Beatty's. I'll come to Beatty's for tomorrow and drop your stuff off, man. Just
The Upper
let me
West
know.
Side. The Upper West Side. You know where to come.
Charlotte Catholic at Cuthbertson is going to be on Monday. This is a game rescheduled because of COVID protocols. Shout out to Trey Kavanaugh, doing some great things down there in Union County. But obviously, Catholics going to be playing with a lot on their minds, a lot on their hearts because of the loss of Coach Otto. So I expect them to have a stellar performance on Monday night for sure. Okay, let's go. Kenneth, you want to come on? OP, y'all want to come on? All right, let's go. Here we go. Rapid fire predictions. Here we go. Olympic at Providence. Billups.
Providence. On the bus.
Queen. Producer.
Providence.
OP.
Olympic.
Kenneth.
I'm trying to earn my jump, man. Providence.
You get a jump, man. You get a jump, man. You get a jump, man.
I was promised a jump man, so Providence people, please have my gear ready. I need a 3X. I need a 704 hat because I saw the other people on the other show had one. And, we got to have a little bit of equal love.
I got to make a phone call.
XL for me.
I don't need no 704 hat. They know where I'm from.
All that being said, all jokes aside, Providence has been waiting all season for this moment. Olympic has been in big games. They're going to be ready for the spotlight. I think it's going to be an awesome game. One of the things I said before when we had the Olympic RGKL matchup is if you get a matchup like this, you believe in seniors. You also believe in home field advantage. I'm going to take Providence. All right. A.L. Brown, J.M. Robinson, South Piedmont Conference Championship. Billups.
D-Rob. I ain't picking against D-Rob and Blue. I love both of them. Good people right there. So J.M.
All right, Queen.
JM.
Producer.
J.M. Robinson.
O.P.
J.M. Robinson.
Woo!
Kenneth.
Blues, you're my boy!
All right. Clean sweep. I'm going with J.M. Robinson as well. Clean sweep for CFI. Jim West is going against us. Jim, we'll see what happens, man.
How about this? Right. I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy real quick. He called me up Monday night, and all D-Rob asked me was, Coach, are the two little boys, my two little boys, going to be at the game Thursday night? He said, I'm going to want to see them and play with them before we walk out on the field, man. That's the kind of dude that J.M. Robinson has leading their program. That's
awesome, man. That's awesome stuff. All right, Gaston County matchup, toss-up, Hunter Hussett, Stuart Kramer. Billups.
This tough guy. I got people at both schools. I'm going to go Stuart Kramer, though.
All right, Queen.
This is for my boy, Ubered me over the weekend. He's also a coach for Stuart Kramer, so I'm going to go Stuart Kramer.
Stuart Kramer. Producer.
Stuart Kramer.
O.P.
Stuart Kramer.
All right, Kenneth.
Show me a quarterback who likes to sling it, and I'm pulling for him. Stuart Kramer.
All right. Hey, that's another clean sweep. I like Stuart Kramer in this one. Rockmore, you rocking it, man. Keep slinging that ball. Great thing to watch. All right, last one, Myers Park at Porter Ridge. Billups.
MP.
Queen.
I'm going to go Myers Park.
Producer.
Myers Park.
O.P.
Myers Park.
Kenneth.
I feel a stampede coming. Myers Park.
Good gracious, man. All these clean sweeps tonight.
You didn't have to say it like that.
I learned my lesson picking against Charlotte schools.
Smart man. Go Sabres!
Like I had an extra salt on that crow last week.
Go Sabres!
Like I said in the preview, I think this game is going to be closer than what people expect. But I will take Myers Park in a very good game down in Union County. And shout out to Mr. Kilborn at quarterback spot, throwing his first career touchdown pass last week in that game over Myers Park win over East Meck. Great job for that young man. All right. So now, oh wait a minute, hold on. Tap in,
Hey, so,
tap in. What's up, man?
Tap in.
Yeah. All right. So hey, give me your picks on those 4 games real quick.
All right, I'm gonna go Olympic.
All right.
Jan Robinson, Stuart Kramer, and Myers Park.
All right. There it is. There it is. So we'll break down these predictions next week. We ain't been doing that because I've been slacking on at the wheel, but we'll break those down next week for sure. All right. So now, oh yeah.
End of the show. Let them go. Oh, my bad.
Now it's not time to go because we got to talk playoffs. So we're gonna talk. Yeah. That's something a lot of people want to know about. So we're gonna get this playoff screen up on the screen real quick. All right. So basically, this information has been available on the NCHSAA website, and I don't think a lot of people know about it. And I'm gonna blow that up a little bit bigger so everybody can see it.
I was gonna say we're not gonna know about it either if you don't zoom in on it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I'm having
it's formulas and crap, man.
Yeah. So, all right. So the big thing about this is focusing on 4A right now. So you see, all right, there's a lot to kind of take in right here, but just to kind of summarize, the number 1 seeds and the number 2 seeds from each conference will get automatic berths. Okay. So in total, that makes 11 automatic bids in the 4A. Okay. And we're talking about 4A West. You know, it's split 32 teams West and East, okay?
So it's all together. There's no large 4A and big 4A. Everybody's
they will subdivide after they decide who makes the playoffs. Okay. So there's a certain order, okay? So number 1 seeds get, seeded together. All the number 2 seeds get seeded together randomly. So like we talked about before, Vance technically could be undefeated. And in this scenario, they could get a number 7 seed. That's how low they could go. Okay? So it's important to understand this seeding process is random by the NCHSAA.
So Vance could be undefeated and have to hit the road against a team with 2 losses, maybe.
Possibly,
yes. In the second round.
Yep, in the second round. That's correct.
This is the old, you guys remember Tommy Knotts. Independence goes undefeated. They win the state championship, and the next year they go undefeated, and they got like a 3rd seed in the playoffs, and Tommy Knotts went ballistic. How does a 2-time or defending state champion who's undefeated not be the number 1 seed? It would be wild, but it could happen.
Absolutely. So it's important to know after the number 1 and number 2 seeds are taken, then we get the wild card process. The wild card process for 4A West, they have 5 wild card spots. All right. Wild card spots are determined by conference win percentage. If you guys are looking on Twitter today, there's a bit of a controversy, I guess is the best way to put it, with some teams in some conferences not playing all their games and being eligible for the playoffs with a high conference win percentage. So the table is not exactly equal on both sides here. The example, we can use here is Lake Norman. Lake Norman in the IMEC, very tough conference. They have 2 conference losses to the 2 best teams in the conference in Vance and Huff. And then you've got teams in other conferences that have only played 4 conference games, yet they're 3-1 in conference with a 750 win percentage. And Lake Norman is going to end up being, you'd say, 5-2 in their conference, possibly. And, that's not the same win percentage, but it's probably a more impressive, slate of games that, they've played and then they've defeated, some good teams. So that's a kind of a weakness in this process that some good teams are going to get left out of the playoffs because, situations like that because of COVID. And, me and Kenneth were talking before the show. And, Kenneth, I'll let you share what you shared with me on that. About the makeup week.
Oh, I think this is something that we all saw coming when we saw that the state was playing 7 games in 7 weeks. There were a lot of people asking questions. Well, what happens if teams have to miss? And in Cabarrus County, we saw it just this past week where there were, I believe, 3 teams in Cabarrus County who played 3 games in 9 days, 3 varsity football games in 9 days because they wanted to make sure they got all 7 games in. It was only right by the county. It was only right by the kids. It was only right by the programs. And now we're seeing teams that are going to have 5 or 6 games in, not playing the full 7-game slate. And the question becomes, is that fair that they make the playoffs? And I'm not sure that it is. I mean, what's going to stop a team from being 6-0 and they've got their toughest game on the schedule and then just sit that 7th game out? We saw the same exact thing happen in the fall time with some college football programs. It just doesn't seem right by everyone. But that's on the state.
Absolutely. Joe Hughes with a couple good comments here. He just said Kings Mountain just went 3 games in 8 days for them. Just as another example of a program that's having to do, that just to get their games in. And then a good example about the playoffs. And, I had asked, did this happen in basketball? And apparently it did. Shelby Girls Hoops was unbeaten and wound up a number 6 seed. And they had to win on the road all but 1 game. So, just trying to get you guys ready. That maybe, Vance fans or Myers Park fans where your team's undefeated and you don't get a 1 seed or a 2 seed that you feel is deserving. It is a random process, So in theory, Vance could be a 6 seed and Myers Park could be a 7 seed. And I will be on this show talking about Charlotte hate all over again. It seems to be an annual thing for somehow. But anyway, I don't want to speak that into fruition. But anyway, all right. So I'm gonna scroll over a little bit just to explain the process here. So it says once the 16 teams are determined in each region, NCHSAA staff will utilize this predetermined draw procedure to set the finalized bracket. Talks about the random order that seeds will be drawn. Number 1 seeds drawn first, number 2 seeds, and then wild card teams after that. They say that they're gonna try to limit conference opponents in the first round rematches. Talks about the automatic berths that we talked about, and then Brandon talks about the subdivision. So once they select the 32 teams, they will be subdivided after that into 4AA, 4A, so on down the line. Okay. And the way that's done is by the ADM. That's a word or a term that you hear a lot during playoff time here in the state of North Carolina. It's the average daily membership of the school, basically the attendance of the school. Okay, so each subdivision will have 16 total teams, 8 on the east, 8 on the west, with teams placed on lines based on conference finish. So there you go. That's how the playoffs are going to be done this year. In the fall, it's going to be a totally different process that we'll have to relearn. So, just because of these COVID times, this is what the state has chosen to do to seed the playoffs this year. So, I got a couple comments here from Jeff. Let's see. So, if top 3 in IMEC have 1 loss, do they all get in? So, this is a scenario that we talked about last week. In theory, that can happen if, Providence defeats Olympic this week and then RGK turns around and defeats Providence next week. You'll have all 3 teams at the top of the SOMEC with 1 conference loss. What happens then is you go to a draw when it's a 3-way tie. And then whoever that 3rd team is will be seeded as a wild card team. With 1 conference loss, I think, with 5 wild card spots open, there's a good shot that, all 3 of those teams would get into the playoffs if that scenario did go down, Jeff. So that's a very, very good question right there. Lee Johnson, if teams cannot complete all schedules, they should be, I think you meant ineligible on that. And that's what we were just talking about with me and Kenneth talking about, there should have been a minimum game requirement to be playoff eligible. I totally agree with that. I said that this morning on Twitter when I was tagged in that whole scenario with the team up in the Triangle 8 conference. I think that's just something that either was missed or that's just something that wasn't considered, in this scenario. But I think that would have been the fair thing to do. We got 7 weeks. I think you had to, and just my opinion, you should have had at least 6 games. At least six games.
6 games in 7 weeks or 7 games in 8 weeks.
Yep, absolutely. And there you go.
That would be fair because that would let you miss one and still be eligible. So I feel like that would be fair. That's 6. But we don't hopefully we never have to use this system again.
Hopefully we won't have to deal with anything like COVID again in our lifetimes either.
Exactly. That's what I meant. Like hopefully this is a one-shot deal, 7-game seasons, COVID and stuff, and some semblance of normalcy in the fall. Hopefully.
Absolutely. So hopefully that kind of clears up how the playoffs are going to work this year. Next week we will have a detailed breakdown about playoff scenarios because we'll be, in the last week of the season, it'll be a lot clearer to see, teams in our area, where they'll be seeded possibly, who has to beat who to get in or have a good shot at either a conference berth or a wild card berth. But the key to the wild card is conference record, okay? And most teams only have 1 game out of conference anyway, so, pretty much how you've been playing this season should determine if you're going to make the playoffs. Corey Hunter says, are the ADM numbers based on last year's numbers? No, they'll be based on this year's numbers, Corey. Typically, when we look at this in the fall, they are just getting those ADM numbers together. But because we're in the spring, we've already got those ADM numbers, to use. So it would be based, on the ADM numbers for this year. Let's see. Patrick Clement. How many rounds of games are in the playoffs this year? Excuse me. Good question, Patrick. It is reduced a round from what it normally is because we only have 32 teams. Okay. So what is that? Is it 4 rounds, Kenny?
4 rounds. 4 rounds.
4 rounds? Okay.
So really the first round this year is more closely resembles a second round matchup in a normal year.
All right. Are you counting the title games as the 4th round?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. So yeah, Patrick, 4 rounds this year, including the state championship game. So that's what we got for the playoffs this year. All right. Let me bring back let's see, OP's back. All right. So any other playoff questions? Let us know. Once again, we'll be talking playoffs in detail, playoff scenarios next week on the show because we'll know where everyone stands. But right now, it's time for something
Big
else.
Big guest next week too, Pep. Big guest.
Oh, do we want to put that out there?
Big guest.
We won't put that out there yet, but yeah, you want to watch next week. You just might want to watch next week.
They want to watch every week.
True that.
Thank you.
No days off, no weeks off.
There will be some weeks off coming up, but no time soon. But anyway. All right, now it's that time for everyone's favorite portion of the show because it's hosted by their favorite host on the show, which is not me.
All right, guys. If you watched the show, back in the NFL playoffs, they had these games televised on Nickelodeon where they had slime buckets and all that kind of crazy mess. So it started something here on Football Focus Weekly where we pick certain people or groups of people who this week we believe deserve to be slime. If we could put them on that Nickelodeon show, that we would be able to slime them. So we're going to start off with my man, OP. Coach, who you sliming this week, big dog?
I'm going to slime the North Carolina High School Athletic Association for the way they set up this playoff bracket, how they was going to determine who gets in and who's out. I just think that is just totally wrong. I don't think they looked at every avenue or all the possibilities with COVID. I don't think they learned anything from what happened with the NCAA playoff games. I don't think they really learned from those mistakes.
That's what's up, Coach. The Queen. We know you always have a couple guys ready to slime. Who the heck are you sliming this week?
I'm going to slime Kevin Durant. And here's why. If you guys know Michael Rappaport, he's pretty big in the sports, but he's also an actor and has done some comedic work, stuff like that. But, he's very open with how he feels about certain things. Well, anyway, so I guess Kevin Durant decided he was going to hit his DMs and say a bunch of inappropriate things to him. And I'm just sliming Kevin Durant because for all that money that he gets paid and all that, he should find something better to do with his time than to be trying to clap back at people, in their DMs or, whatever. So he gets the slime this week.
True that. Producer Brandon. No, we already went to you. God, dog, my wife just sent me a message. She said, stop making so much noise. So I'm trying to have my number one inside voice going on. Pep, who are you sliming this week?
Oh boy. There's a lot of ways that I could go this week. My goodness. I talked to one of my other buddies, and he was just talking about dating in a pandemic and just how difficult it is. He's tried several things, online, in person, the little bit of in-person stuff that you can do, trying to meet people while working. And none of it's working because all he keeps saying is all these people are looking for help, and that's not what dating's supposed to be. Dating's supposed to be a true connection between you and somebody and getting to know them, having a good time together. And it sucks right now because you try to figure out who is really genuine and who is really, just trying to use you for what you might have, So I'm sliming dating, and I told him, man, hey, just get you a dog and chill, man. That's all I got to say. It sucks.
Pep, I'm a blessed man. I have been married for going on 18 years this June. Been together with my wife for 21 years, so I do not envy those of you guys who are trying to date, especially in this time. I'm going to slime actually two groups of people, and they both are surrounding the same person, but on completely opposite spectrums. I'm going to slime all these knuckleheads who are coming out this week bashing Justin Fields of Ohio State. Did anybody see this man play in the playoffs? This dude got demolished on an illegal hit and then came back and played lights out. Just showed incredible heart, incredible talent, incredible love for his team. So all the people who are all of a sudden shaming Justin Fields and trying to poke at every aspect of his life, I'm sliming you guys. But at the same exact time, I'm going to slime those knuckleheads on the radio. I'm not going to mention the radio station name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. It's a local sports station. And I'm on my way home today, and I hear the local talk show host, and he's talking about Zach Wilson and his meteoric rise to the top of the list here recently. And this joker wanted to say that the only reason why Zach Wilson has moved up the ratings, so to speak, is because he's a white quarterback, and that Justin Fields has moved down because he is a black quarterback. What in the world am I listening to? I'm going to slime you, knucklehead, on 610 WFNZ. What are you talking about? And how does this dude stay on the radio? It makes no sense to me at all. And we've got the illustrious one. I haven't forgotten about you, my man, Coach Phillips. Who you sliming this week?
I'm not Billups, but
I slime you, Kenneth, because he is not illustrious. He is the producer.
right. But
Anyway,
he gets a pass. I'm gonna slime LaMarcus Aldridge for signing with Brooklyn. And this is a very biased sliming because if he had signed with the Lakers, I wouldn't slime him at all. He'd be safe. But he's with Brooklyn, so he's slimable, and yeah, he's gonna get slimed. It just seems like Brooklyn is just trying their best to kind of buy themselves a championship. So they're just putting the pressure all on themselves because anything short of a championship with that team is gonna be a big bust, a big disappointment. But yeah, Aldridge, you're slime.
My 7-year-old boy yesterday, I got him some sweet tea for lunch, and he went to drink it, and the look on his face was my exact look right there. I'm expecting to see Coach Billups, and then instead of seeing that ugly-headed, nappy-headed self, I see the producer Brandon, except for the difference was I was expecting unsweet tea, but I got sweet tea. Producer Brandon, I apologize for that.
All good, man. All good.
I told you I'm nervous. My wife sent me a text. I was being too loud. I had to quiet down.
all right, to end the show, we got a couple of comments here. Jim West wanted us to give a shout out to his alma mater, North Stanley. Comments will most likely be undefeated. Yeah, big deal, man. First time ever in the school's 59-year history. Good gracious.
Another basketball school that got screwed in the playoffs. They won their conference, and in the draw, I think they ended up a number 7 seed and had to go on the road in the second round.
Shameful. Jeff Taylor, you guys keep doing what you do. See you tomorrow night at Providence. Hey, Jeff, if you still watching, we need 2 3Xs for me and Brandon. We need an XL for Kenneth. All right? Don't worry about Billups. You got enough Providence stuff.
I'll take a hat. I'm not choosy.
Sure what we're getting, but I want it.
Jump man. All right.
Okay.
All right. Dove Kilborn, best high school sports show in the Carolinas. Y'all are the best. Thank you for all you do. # slime time. Hey, I want to thank you for helping getting me that $15 thing for Church's chicken, man. I still ain't used it, and that reminds me I got to use that. We're gonna get 52 pieces of chicken at the CFI social coming up.
For $15 and 40 biscuits.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Thank you, Duff. Appreciate it. Joe Hughes says Pep sounds like he's been spent the past week watching Dr. Phil.
I think he just slimed all single women, honestly. Without saying it, he slimed every single woman.
I did not. I slimed dating.
I heard
I slimed. No, you did not.
I did.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. Okay.
I know what I heard.
Well, you know what? I told this is a little insider. I told him to stay out the bargain bin, Brandon. So.
Oh wow. That explains a lot. That explains a lot, man. You go in that bargain bin at Walmart. All you see is like Ghostbusters 2 and stuff in there, man. And all them old movies. You get what you pay for, man.
Queen and Kenneth, we'll talk after the show about what that means, okay? All right, so Miss Moulton agrees with me. So, hey, I told you, in general, talking about situation, all right? Talking about dating, not about any one or the other, all right? Just talking in general. All right. Jim West, I'll slime Bill. I'll slime Bill Walton. Every time I listen to him, I'm on a Rocky Mountain high. So, I know you guys have watched him on ESPN, man. I think he's funny. I really enjoy listening to Bill Walton. I mean, I ain't got no problem with him.
He's quirky. He's very, very quirky.
Absolutely. I remember I was watching the broadcast where him and his commentating buddy couldn't hear each other. Now, you talking about hilarious. I mean, they were both trying to commentate at the same time, and the serious guy was trying to talk about the game. Bill Walton just talking about all kind of crazy mess. Nothing about the game. Talking about, going in forests and climbing trees. And
that reminds me of Charles Barkley. He used to just go off on tangents about not even about the game.
This crazy stuff. All right. Jermaine Moss, not 52 piece for $15. I love church.
Y'all gonna leave churches alone.
Hey, that's great. That's a great deal, man. That's a
I'll
great
take
deal. Get the spicy at church, and you're gonna pay for it on the other side. But I'm telling you, it's good going in the front side. That's all I'm gonna say. It's good stuff, man. You gotta get it. Let's see. Last one, Joe Hughes, Bill Walton wants to. Literally, he does. He does want to smoke. I like that, Joe. That was very good. Very good. Jim West got to say, for all-time Slime Award goes to Billy Packer. Billy Packer? What did Billy Packer do? I thought he was a pretty good commentator, man. Y'all like Billy Packer? I thought he was good.
I'm not sure who Billy Packer is.
Right.
He used to be a college basketball commentator. You know, he's the one that always used to do like the championship games and all that.
Oh, I only know Dickie V.
Hey, that Geico commercial he's on, that he can't be pouring all that cold water on him. He's like 70-something years old, man. He don't get pneumonia.
Maybe more than that.
Dang, go on. All right, so Queen's gonna be at West Smeck and Harding. Kendall's gonna be at A.L. Brown, J.M. Robinson. We're gonna be at Olympic Providence. So you see us, say hello tomorrow night. Good luck to all the teams this week. Thank you for watching another great episode of Football Focus Weekly. We'll see you on Friday Night Live. By the way, Thursday night we're gonna do Friday Night Live on Thursday. So tomorrow night, Thursday Night Live tomorrow night.
I was gonna say, wouldn't that make it Thursday Night Live?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, good night, everybody. I'm tired.